Hey everyone, welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I am your host, Chris Bello, and on today's episode, I want to talk about the importance of planning your week. I've talked about time blocking, using a calendar, planning your day, making sure that everything's on the calendar. And people who know me or work with me or meet with me ever, they know that if I push things back even 15 minutes or 30 minutes, I update the calendar. I send them a new calendar invite immediately. So as soon as I'm there on the phone with them and they're saying, hey, we need to push this call back 30 minutes, or can we grab coffee at this time instead of that time? I pull up my Google Calendar, I change the time, and I update it immediately just so I know that when I look at my calendar, that is my schedule to a T, very detailed. And I make sure to follow that, no matter what. And I move things around. If something gets rescheduled or canceled for now, I delete it off the calendar so I know I have that time. But taking it a step further, instead of just planning your day, you want to make sure to plan your week. And this is something that I need to start doing more of, because I am guilty of kind of just having the same time blocks for each day. And I know when I have my lead generation time and my client appointment times and my workouts and stuff. So I kind of have the same thing planned out for the week, but I want to get better about planning the big stuff. Hey, a closing on this day, order a closing gift by this day. And I can start to do all that if I were to just spend some time on Sundays planning out the entire coming week and even reflecting on the week prior. And so I started doing this a couple Friday nights, and it's not very hard and fast rule. It's just something I've done a few times over the last few weeks. Is on Friday, while I'm sitting there and I'm reflecting on all the stuff that I got done this week, I wrote down here, I can actually read it for you, what I wrote down yesterday. And I'm recording this on Saturday, by the way. So I said, thinking back on the week, it's been a great week, I think. We're moving forward on multiple deals, and I'm streamlining my processes. I have my personal assistant even booking my haircut next week. So if you've been listening, I got the personal assistant. She's booking my first haircut. Things are moving along. I go on to say I set up a call for Wednesday to see if I can find one or two reliable real estate agents to work with. I have 9 to 10 people who are interested, and based on that call, I want to see who I can vibe with and who I think I will give a chance to. So I'm basically getting very busy right now, and I'm trying to get some leverage. So I'm trying to outsource some tasks to real estate agents, specifically things on the buying side. Like if I've got clients who want to see 5 or 6 houses, that can be a 2 or 3 hour time suck for me personally. And while it's good to build a FaceTime and build rapport with my clients, I'm okay doing that the first time. But if they want to see houses a second time and a third time, I would really prefer to outsource that to somebody who I can pay $25 to per house or something like that. So, say they look at 4 houses, that's $100. That might only take them an hour, maybe an hour and a half to show 4 houses. So I feel like that's a pretty good return on their time spent. And it saves me maybe 2 hour round trip, depending on how far I have to drive to show the houses. I'm also wanting some help with things like scheduling the photographer on my listings, putting up lock boxes and signs on various listings, and then attending the inspection review. So different parts of the process where I'm having to go to this house like 3 or 4 times throughout the process. I'd like to maybe go one time and then have someone else go second and third time as necessary, and be able to take care of that kind of stuff. And I can pay them per task or per hour or something that makes sense. And the trade-off here is I'm trying to attract newer agents who haven't really done any deals or business yet, and they're still learning. And the value that I'm able to offer on top of kind of paying them, something's better than nothing when they're getting started off, because if they're not closing deals, they're not getting paid. So they get paid something. It helps me get leverage, and in exchange, they get to learn from me. I mean, I'm not super experienced, but I've got connections, and I am a year ahead of them and several deals ahead of them, and I'm actually starting to see a lot of traction and growth here. I've got 5 deals under contract. 2 of them are listings, 3 of them are buyers. I'm about to have another listing here too. So it's just a testament to the fact that, you keep on pushing so hard and it seems like nothing's happening. It's like the Chinese bamboo plant. It takes 5 years of watering it and nurturing it just for it to break out through the ground. And as soon as it breaks out through the ground, I think it grows like 80 feet in 5 weeks, if you've ever heard that. So really, it doesn't take 5 weeks for it to grow. It takes 5 years, but you can't see it until the 5th year. And luckily, I haven't had to do this for 5 years to see some traction. I've been in real estate for about 2 years now, 1 year as a licensed real estate agent, but I'm starting to see, I'm reaping the harvest or whatever of all these seeds that I've planted and I've been continuing to water and nurture. So that's some of the value I can provide, is teaching them some of the tips and tricks and all of that. So things are moving along well, but I'm starting to incorporate a Friday reflection on how did the work week go. And I still get some work and tasks done on the weekend, but I feel like Friday is kind of, my day to reflect. And then Saturday and Sunday, I do get some stuff done for work, but it's more like, okay, I'm going to go to the beach or go hang out with a friend, or, I'm more flexible to do some personal stuff on the weekends and whatnot. But yeah, so Fridays is more reflective. And then Sundays is where I want to start planning, because I'm still kind of in that relaxed state. There's not that pressure of the work week and deadlines, and a lot of businesses and stuff that I have to work with are closed. So I take some time to reflect and think, what do I need to focus on next? What are my big tasks this week? What are my main to-dos? And I mean, the entrepreneurial curse is we have an endless list of to-dos. I'm sure you can relate. I've mentioned this before. I knock off one to-do and then two replace it. It's like the two-headed sea monster or whatever from, what is it? Hercules or something? I can't remember. Whatever, the Hydra snake thing, dragon, whatever. But it seems like as soon as I knock out one thing, two other things replace it. And then I knock out those two things and then it quadruples. But I'm also getting better at outsourcing things. I've got the personal assistant. Hey, can you schedule a haircut for next week? Put it on my calendar, put a 30-minute reminder, boom. She'll figure that out. She'll spend 5 or 10 minutes to get that done. And it saves me time there. Ordering my meals, bam, that's done. Now I'm going to have a couple of real estate agents that I can work with locally where I'm like, hey, my client wants to see 4 houses tomorrow. Can you show them 6 to 7 p.m. in the Spring area, which is like 45 minutes from me? That saves me 2 or 3 hours, maybe, like round trip. If I'm driving 45 minutes each way and then staying for an hour to an hour and a half to show houses, that takes time and mental energy. It pulls me away from my areas of focus that I'm looking at. And so I'm starting to find out how I can delegate and outsource and be a better boss almost, even though I don't really have a team. I'm kind of creating this team, this unofficial team, where I can make calls and just be here kind of like a coach of a basketball team, telling all these different players on my team what I need them to do. And then they orchestrate the play and they make the moves and they score, the winning game point or whatever for my deals and my transactions. So this video, I just wanted to quickly remind you to plan your week. I know they say plan your day, time block, put everything on the calendar, but make sure to actually plan the week. What are the things that are your key tasks this week? What are the things that you were probably focusing on that maybe you don't need to focus on? Get rid of those things. What are your top things, right? So I've said this so many times before, but it's like a eureka moment for me because I'm having this enlightenment and this insight to like, that is not my top priority. I should not be doing it. Yeah, with all these little things. And so when you plan your week, you make sure to move pieces around. You have things on your radar that maybe instead of just waking up and looking at your day, like, oh, I've got that big thing at 10 a.m. or like 3 p.m. Oh, I didn't prepare for it. Now you'll know by Wednesday, I have this meeting with so-and-so. Friday, I have to do this with this other client. And then Saturday, I've got to meet up with an inspector for this. So that will allow me to have enough notice in advance where if I need to delegate these things, say I want to tell someone to show houses for me on Wednesday, telling them on Wednesday morning is probably a little last minute. And if they're not available, now I got to do it, right? So if you plan ahead and you let people know with enough notice in advance, enough time in advance, they can also plan accordingly. Same thing with, I'm interviewing a couple like real estate agents for this buyer agent role on Wednesday. And I have like 10 or 11 people who are interested. I probably already said that, but I gave them about a week's notice. I sent that out on Wednesday or Thursday to make sure, instead of telling them, hey, tomorrow at noon, we're going to do this. They probably already have plans, but usually most people are flexible within 1 or 2 weeks out. I didn't want to quite wait 2 weeks, but I felt like 1 week was fair. And then for those who couldn't make that call, I told them to just let me know. We'll figure something else out, do a separate call or something like that. So when you look at your week in advance, like say I'm looking on Sunday, I've got showings on Wednesday. I tell my buyer agent, once I have this meeting and I find a right-hand man or woman to help out with my clients, I can say, hey, on Wednesday, these clients want to see these houses from 6 to 7 or 8 p.m. Can you show it to them? Are you free? Can I count on you? And they'll handle that whole piece. And then maybe on Thursday, I've got a meeting where I've got a call with a friend. We're looking at our first flip. We're analyzing some data and stuff. Maybe I can get my personal assistant to do some data pulling, give her the instructions, tell her what the criteria is, and export all of the data from the multiple listing service or the MLS so that I can just plug it into Excel, run some numbers, and I don't have to do the nitty gritty work of like exporting this sheet, looking up another zip code and exporting that sheet, like 10 different zip codes that we're doing. That would save me a bunch of time so I can continue to focus on my main things. So plan your day, plan your week, plan your year, obviously, and just continue to work your plan. Plans can sometimes change. I encourage you to really dig deep and stick to your goals that you make for yourself, even if it looks like you're way off track. And then you'll know if you need to pick up the pace on any of them. And I've mentioned this quote before, but it's on my vision board by Grant Cardone. Never lower your target, increase your actions. And one of my goals, for example, I have this cool sheet of paper, not paper, but an Excel spreadsheet where I track my daily tasks. And it's pretty cool because it's got formulas and stuff in there. So it says here's some of the things I'm tracking: my morning routine, the number of times I exercise this year, number of pages read, closed deals, the number of podcasts I've created, the number of podcasts I've been on as a guest. And I've got all my goals for the year. For example, morning routine, I want to hit 365 days. I don't want to miss a single day all year. Exercise, I want to do 20 times a month. Pages read of books, I want to read 667 pages a month, which comes out to 8,000 a year. So I'm extremely granular and I track all of this every day. I do my morning routine. I read for 20 or 25 minutes. I count how many pages. I have a little formula where it's like I started at this page, ended at this page. The formula calculates how many pages I've read, so I don't have to like do the math or remember or anything. There's no room for error. It's just start, finish, spits out a number. I plug it into the spreadsheet. And then the formulas tell me how I'm doing. Am I pacing to hit my goal? So right now I'm hovering on my exercise and the number of pages read. The status says pick up the pace on those two items. My morning routine's on track. I haven't missed a day yet. I've actually, I guess if this is correct, I've hit 200 days, if it's been 200 days so far in the year as of this recording. And for exercise, I can play with the numbers to see what I need to do to change it. So if I work out once today, it still says pick up the pace. If I work out twice today, it says on track. So I'm kind of hovering at that thing. I may have to do a couple of 2-a-days or work out 5 days in a row or 6 days in a row to catch up. And I can include a 20-minute jog or like a 1-mile run. That can count as like a little bit of a workout. But I try not to just count basic jumping jacks and stretching as a workout. I want to actually do 30 minutes to an hour if possible. And then for my pages read, right now it says at this pace, I am tracking to hit 7,966 pages. So I'm close. If I read 30 pages today, I'm still not on track. If I read 40, let's see, I'm playing with the numbers here. If I did 40 pages today, I would be on track. Let's try 35. Nope. 37? Yes. So it looks like 36 is the number. I just found it. If I read 36 pages today, I'm back on track to hit the goal. But I have not read 36 pages today. I only read 17, so I need to pick up the pace. Maybe I need to add in another 30 minutes this afternoon to make that reading happen and just to knock it out. And this is how I am maintaining that bird's eye view of all my goals. I know what my goals are. I know how far I am from hitting them. For real estate, I set a big goal that I wanted to hit 35 transactions closed this year. So far, I've only got 6 deals closed. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I have 5 under contract that are set to close within this month or next month. And knock on wood, I hope none of those fall through. You never know if they will, but I mean, if I've got 5 deals, like even if 3 or 4 close, I mean, I'm pretty good. And hopefully the one that didn't close, we can figure out how to make it close, maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, we might have to delay it. Yeah. So that quote once again, never lower your target, increase your action. So I don't want to lower my target of 35 deals closed this year to like 20 to make me feel less bad. I want that to hurt a little bit. I want to see the 35 and be like, dang, if I end the year and I only close 10 deals, like I want it to hurt a little bit where I'm like, Chris, you got to step it up. But at the same time, if I aim for 35 and I hit 30, aim for the moon and you'll hit the stars or whatever the quote is. if I aim for 35 and I hit 30, that will be a lot better than if I aim low and actually hit it. If I aim for 10 and I hit 10, it looks great, but it means my goal was too low. I don't ever want to have to hit my goal on the first try, because then I guess it's not stretching myself. So if I have a good mix of goals that I've hit and goals that I haven't hit, I know that I'm pushing myself. And then if I do hit the goals too easily, I could raise the bar way higher next year. And next month, I mean, you don't have to wait until the new year. You can always say, I'm just going to start pushing way harder and just blow past my goal entirely. So that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to plan your week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out. Make sure to leave a comment if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification thing. And if you're on podcast, Apple Podcast, or any of that stuff, please share it with a friend. It really helps grow the show. If you haven't left a review yet and you've been listening for a while, please do that. I just left a couple of reviews on shows that I was listening to for a while without having left reviews, because I know it helps the podcasters to continue to spread their message. So thanks again. Talk to you soon, and I'll see you on the next episode.